here. What if we do this? Yeah, that kind of works. Yeah, that kind of works. Kind of be over here. I'm waiting for some of you lovelies to come and say hi. Or we go like this way. If we do that, you can see there's right there, right there. I'm pointing in the screen like you can see it. Here's where we keep all the frets, at least most of our frets. Um, that's cool. I'm here because I need to just shoot some clear coat on some headstock faces like this one. Check this out. That's nice. You see? Yeah, we had some figure, the 622 neck. So this is oiled, and this has a little coat of oil on it, but I need to put a little base layer of clear, and then I can put the logo on and then more clear coat. Isn't that exciting? Sure it is. So headstock is masked off here. I'm just going to set this over here. And then this one I need to do as well. Another 622 neck. I hope the one person that's watching this is getting a kick out of it. I don't really know if this camera's picking this stuff up, but that's okay. It's a nice flame roasted maple, and that is cool. So, oh, you know what we could do? What we could do? Let's do this. Let's just make this a. Oh, I don't know. Well, I probably can't do it with both now. I was going to put my um. Look, so, hang on a second. Oh, let's turn the hell off. Okay, the air compressor. I I do use I do use steel wool from time to time, and when I set this down on things, steel wool gets like around the camera lenses, so that's not enjoyable. I was going to use my phone and do an Instagram live, but I don't know since I'm speaking to you with my little AirPods here. Um, I don't know if launching Instagram on my phone would cause a problem with, crossing the streams. You know what? This is great. This is the validation that I need right there. Joey is enjoying it. And, that's all you really need, right? Right. So I don't think I did one of these last weekend, which is fine. The world is magically continued against all odds. Uh, I didn't do it. So this week, has been really, really cold, um, for everybody. But I'm not everybody. I'm just me. And let's see. Okay, yeah, we got a little bit of. So when I put a little bit of oil on, it's not really an oil per se. It's a urethane gel finish that is primarily intended for cutting boards. Um, but if it's good enough for Mr. J, it's good enough for me. And it is called Emmett's Good Stuff. Why is it called Emmett's Good Stuff? Well, because that's what it is. This is what I use right here. Emmett's Good Stuff. This is what goes on the oiled, raw, unfinished necks. Isn't that exciting? I gotta blow this off again. Sorry. Okay. So we've been having all kinds of drama with the dust collector, but that has been resolved, and I'm glad for that. Uh, I've had this dust collector for 4 years now, and it's really good. But I noticed this really strange thing that when we would get cold snaps, the dust collector would run for if it was below 60 degrees in the shop, the dust collector would run for about 3 to 5 minutes and then it was shut down. Very strange. It's also uncool. But if it was above 60 in the shop, the dust collector would run just fine. And, it's kind of a strange thing. Uh, and I didn't really think it was, weather related, but, it seemed to be really just seemed to be the case. And I I'm like, well, maybe the motor is going, and that's bad. We don't want that, um, because these things are expensive, and good to minimize your expenses as best you can. So anyway, I find this motor repair place, and they're like, "Can you bring it in?" And I'm like, "Girl, no," um, because like I don't really want to take this thing apart. Here I can show you. It's let's see. Let's go this way. Let's go this way. Do 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 do. So this thing here, I mean, it's tall. Can't see it. Um, I don't want to take the thing apart. Thankfully, they make house calls. Uh, Boy, do they charge extra for that, but that's the way it goes. Um, so they came by and they took the motor, and they're like, "Well, we've got some." Actually, they didn't call me with what they needed to do. They just did the work, which uh, wasn't my favorite thing in the world. Um, but 700 and some odd dollars later, they brought it back. I'm like, all right, cool. So what was wrong with it? And they're like, well, you had a capacitor that we had to replace. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that kind of makes sense because I had to do this, on my AC unit at home. And that's a big fan, and okay, with capacitors and that sort of thing. All of that makes sense. My God, this place is a mess. Uh, and so they leave, and like the day that they brought it back, it was nicer outside. But sure enough, the problem persisted, much like problems do. Um, and so, and I'm just like, ugh. That's pretty much what I was. I was just like, ugh. And so I'm talking to the company, and they're like, "Well, it ran here," and I'm like, "Yeah, I believe you. It ran here when it's above 60 degrees in the shop, but when it is not, it does not. And I imagine it's above 60 degrees in your shop." So anyway, so they're like, "Well, okay, we can try and come out later in the week." That was this week. I'm like, "All right, touch base with me, and we'll go from there." And then I'm also talking with the company that makes my dust collector, and the owners have retired, so like they're kind of out of business. They still have some stuff, but I'm just like, ugh. And they're like, well, yeah, maybe it sounds like your motor is kind of like near the end of its life. And I'm like, really? Um, and we've got some that are coming in, and they're going to be like $850, and I'm like, I just spent. That's pretty much what I said. Um, and but here's the thing. Here's the thing I noticed. So our dust collector, as you saw there, it has a remote control to turn it on and turn it off. And, that's fine. Makes it convenient. But maybe it was Wednesday morning. Yeah, Wednesday morning I got here, and oh God, it was so cold in here. It was like 30 in here. There's no heat in the warehouse where I am right now. There are in the offices, but not out in this workshop area. There's no heat. There's no AC. And so I go to the remote for itself stopped working a long time ago. So, but you can go and you just kind of push the button on the remote starter unit, and it'll turn the thing on. Would you like that pause for drama? And so I go to start it, push the button, and it's like going like it's trying to start, it's trying to start, it's trying to start. I'm like, what is happening now? This is a whole new thing. Like the motor itself won't even start. I'm like, fuck, I've got machining to do. I've got. So I removed the remote start, like the unit. So it's basically it's like a little on off, key fob thing that is connected to this, receiver that turns the thing on and off, and that plugs into the electrical box on the dust collector. I'm like, how about I remove this and then just plug the dust collector straight into the electrical box instead of it going into the remote starter. What do you know? Ran all day. So the nice thing is that I don't have to get a new motor. That's great. The nice thing is that I don't have to have the electrical motor repair company come out, although they were really nice. So that's nice. And it works. That's good. I need things to work so that I, in turn, can work. And I mean work. What do we think about the hair today? It's kind of, this is what happens when we let things air dry and then we sleep on it well. I understand that I might kind of look like 70s Wonder Woman, and honestly, I'm okay with that. Because everybody likes 70s Wonder Woman. So who doesn't want to look like something that everybody likes? So, yeah. So we had dust collector problems. Good thing is that we've been doing a lot of woodwork um, because, well, we got to do that. Um, and let's see. I've got a carved top Astro um, that's moving along quite nicely. You want to see it? I'll show you. I'll go get it. You know what you know what I'll do? Let me bring the cart over. It's like a dessert cart. Let's let's see. Yeah, okay. Let's just do this. All right, so we're gonna bring this first cart over. What do we think of this? So on this cart, we have, you might think this is a 622 neck. You're wrong. This goes onto this Stardust. So you saw the one that we had at NAMM. I think this is just going to be the default kind of headstock for the Stardust. What do you think? Tell me in the comments. Tell me in the comments. Kevin, left-handed models in stock? No, I'm sorry. We are super lefty friendly, but they absolutely are made to order. But I'm happy to make you one. I will write notes to it, to myself, all over it, while I'm building it. It's for the best. So there's a Stardust. There's a Stardust here that's just been sitting. And this is technically, well, not technically anything. So this is a Stardust with, the 3.3 Aero headstock. This is a Carina / White Limba body. It is cut for a Schallerhannes bridge. This has hollow block inlays, ebony fretboard. It's got a flamey maple neck. Look at that. So nobody, nobody wants to buy this. Makes me sad. Yeah, that's just it. Nobody's interested. Nobody's interested in anything you do, Sully. You stupid bastard. We hate you. I know. Okay, so then this is for our pal Sean McCloskey. This is a 624 baritone that's going to have a sustainer and all of that. So swamp ash body. For a baritone, we've been making the bodies a little bit larger, but so this is, oh, actually, no, I take that back. This is a 622 body, which is bigger than a 624. And yeah, this is dope. This is going to be fun. So we've got, so it's got like, sustainer and battery pack and all that stuff. Let's see. Looks lightweight and comfortable to play. Yeah, Swamp Ash is super light. This has like typo negative inspired green hollow block inlays. It's flamey roasted maple neck. He didn't ask for that, but I just happen to have a bunch of that at the time, and I'm like, hey, would you be mad if your guitar had a flame roasted maple neck instead of just a roasted maple neck? And he'd be like, no, why would I be mad at that? And I'd be like, I know, but like, trust me, you wouldn't believe what people like and don't like. I hear about it all the time. So, um, so this is a carved top Astro. Look at that, kids. What do we think about that? Got body binding. Dope. Super dope. So it's mahogany neck. This hasn't really been fitted to this yet, but it'll kind of be like this. I really like how this came out. I think this is cool. We have a couple of other looks planned for the Astro. As I've said forever, you got to make a bunch of these things before you know what you have. And yeah, I've got an idea for an Astro bass that looks super dope. It has like this real kind of ratty vibe to it, that I wasn't expecting to see, but there it was. Mama, am I shouting? I feel like I'm shouting. I had to do some tweaks to the carve top. I'll get the test body, so maybe you can see why I wanted to spend a little more time on this. Okay, I got to turn the air compressor on because I got to blow the dust off of this. So hold, please. Okay. So this was what is. This is the first. This was a test. Well, we did a test out of foam, and I was happy with it. And so, carved top Astro. It's got a flame top. Doesn't matter. It was gonna get flaked. And everything's cool. And this is really small, and it could be something that no one was ever gonna notice or uh, care about. Dustin, thank you. Um, but so this is a carved top, and because I didn't want to reinvent the wheel, we already have a carved top model, 71 Trella, right? Right. So why don't we take that geometry from the 71 Trella carved top and then just use that on an Astro? Hmm? Make sense? Yeah. Ça marche? Oui. Mais la forme est plus grande que la forme de 71 Trella. I'll stop. Nobody needs to hear this just on a weekend. So what I'm saying is the body size of an Astro, especially out here, this is some foreshadowing, is wider than on a 71. So what you have to do in those cases is, so we took the geometry for the carved top, which is already oversized, because when we're making the body and it's doing the carved top, you want it to be oversized, and then the perimeter comes in and just cleans it all up. But I still needed it to be larger, so we extended it out. And on your carved top, so you've got this it's got an arc, and then it comes down, it slopes down, but then when it comes to the point at its lowest point, and then it starts to go back up this way. And it's a little exaggerated, but trying to see if I can get this in the light to where you can I've got the test. Oh, it doesn't matter. It's fine. Just trust me on this. Starts, comes down, hits the bottom, comes back up. And I think maybe you can see here. All right. So, like on the inside part of a carved top here, see how it's real tall. This part's real tall, and then the maple kind of slopes down. See, there we go. You can see that. Um, that's fine. Uh, but what I ran into on this one here is these areas where it's wider, it really flares up real high here to the point where, let's see if we can see this. Mm, mm, you can see it's real high here, and then it starts to slope down, and then slopes down, and then it starts getting real tall again. It bothered me. And now I think if this was all going to be painted a solid color or something that doesn't have binding, probably wouldn't have noticed. But I noticed it. And before moving this forward, I had the chance to do something about it. So what we needed to do was kind of alter the carve around here where you can kind of smooth it out. So there's a word for this. I don't know what it is. But we made some tweaks so that when it terminates here, it doesn't come up quite as high. So that's where we wound up with this one. And it's more consistent. It still does kind of come up slightly, but it is way more consistent across here than on the other one. So this is good. And then so this will, I don't know. I mean, we can make something out of it. Uh, I know somebody, one of our lovely clients is interested in doing something with this, but I mean, it would be a shame to just kind of run it through a bandsaw because it does have a nice top on it. And when we were making this one, I was initially like I know that this guitar is gonna have flake, and I kind of almost feel bad because like this would look really nice with a sunburst. So anyway, um, yeah. So there's that. What else do we have? We've got we've got some 71 trellas down here. So here's a body. It's got half of its binding on because I ran out of binding. I got binding in yesterday, so that's good. We have a 71 Trella LS, the short scale. Um, oh, we were testing out a new binding glue on this side to see if I like it because normally we use acetone. And it works okay. It's cleaner than a lot of binding glues, but we do often find ourselves having to touch things up. So this is the 71 Trella LS, has a nice flame top. Yeah, nice piece of mahogany. Here's the neck for it. Whee! We've got two 71 Trella LSs right now that are um, in there on racks that they're just about ready to go to paint. The necks were glued in. Right here, I have this is a 7-string Concord neck, and I glued the fretboard on yesterday, and these rubber bands are the clamps that I use for that process. So I'm going to take them out of the clamps. Let's just do this in the vise, shall we? Sure. Why not? Why not? Why not? Um, so this one, I've got the body. I'll go grab that because I think that I can kind of fit these together a little bit. Taking off the rubber band. Taking off the rubber band. I'm taking off the rubber band. I had some sad news about my roads that came to light yesterday. Really bummed, but somewhat hopeful. Um, so this project that has sat here for 10 years because I got to a point where I'm like, juice isn't going to be worth the squeeze. And then after speaking with some folks about, some options that we could do that would actually make it worth continuing, I got excited. Here, let me go and grab that body real quick. But part of the thing with that guitar was that it had a twisted neck. And I addressed that because, if you don't, there's no point in continuing, right? Right. Um, so I addressed it. I got the thing in clamps and clamped it straight, carved channels for graphite rods to go in to kind of hold it in that position. And it stayed there like that for 10 years. I think you know where I'm going. Yes, 7-string Concord. This is for our pal Adam Bath at Elysian Pickups. Adam's an old pal. We actually we had a day job together, which is how we met. And he was all, "Hey, I heard you like to build guitars," and I'm like, "Yeah." This was like 2008, 2009. He's like, "I like to build guitars too." I'm like, "Dope." And so, uh, anyway, it's black limba body, maple neck, ebony fretboard, Concord inlays. Yeah. So what was I saying? Anyway, so I got this neck straight. I glued the new fretboard on. Still looks good. And I got some new old stock brass string through and plate and metal pickguard. And I needed the string through plate. Long story short, it looks like the twist is coming back slightly. And I am absolutely, really, you got to be fucking kidding me over it. Super bummed, but so there is a possibility. There is a possibility that you can plek around this sort of thing. Now, this is a project for myself um, that I do not intend to sell. So if I can get that to work, then okay. Um, but it was really deflating yesterday. It was really, 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 really deflating yesterday. So fingers crossed. And yeah. So, but anyway, so here's the 7-string Concord. It's pretty dope. And my pal Adam is also pretty dope. He makes dope pickups. So yeah, we have our own, but like when we make sevens, we use Adam's pickups because uh, we don't have 7-string pickup models for now, and we make them so infrequently that I don't really see the need to look into that. So let's see. We got some 624 bodies. These are all Honduran mahogany. One is for our pal Rob, and then two are for our pal Jason. We got to make those next. Let's see. Here's what I'll show you what a set neck blank looks like in the actual. So we get a, rectangular thing, and then we cut out the parts that we don't want. So we've got 2 holes for locator pins to help with fretboard alignment. And then we've got channels here for the carbon fiber rods. And then this here is a truss rod channel with a spoke wheel access. So that's something that we've been transitioning to beginning of last year. And we've almost got everything. I guess one of the nice things about, and so like Adam's Concord, it's got a spoke wheel. I guess, you know, our build times aren't as fast as I would like them to be. Uh, but I guess one of the nice things is that when we are able to make changes that I think will make the guitars better, everybody benefits. So that's good. What else have we been working on? Like I said, a lot of woodwork. We're chatting with a case company out of the UK called Hiscox Cases, and they make they're really nice. My buddy Omer from OD Guitars in Israel uses them, and I think they're more common for the European builders. They're a really nice molded case, but they are nicer than like the SKB or the Gator molded cases. The latches are nicer. It's in general just kind of just a nicer kind of vibe. Um, and so I've got one of them here because I've got one of Omer's cases, and we just might get some cases made there. Because boy, is that a hassle. Just cases in general are a huge hassle. And I've said this a bunch of times. My best advice I can give to those who are looking to get into guitar building is one, seriously reconsider, and two, make things that fit in standard cases. Let's see. I used to follow you on Facebook till the MIB showed up. I don't I don't know what that means. Nice shop. I remember you in someone's garage. Yeah, my garage. Um, Boy, would I like to go back there. Um, Speaking of shops, unfortunately, we're gonna have to move at the end of April. Um, and yeah, moving the stuff here out of the garage was a pain in the ass. We have accumulated more things that will make it more ass painy. Um, yeah. Oh, the Men in Black showed up. I don't to showed up to your place or to my. I'm thoroughly confused, but I'm glad that number one, if you used to follow me and now you're back, I'm glad for that. So that's good. Yeah, that is my sentiment. Um, yes, we are going to have to move. My lease is up at the end of April. Rents don't go down, kids. And um, we've got. Why was this not working? Yes, I will say, unfortunately, I am still in Texas. Uh, Rents don't go down. This place has been sold a few times since I've been here. The first time it was sold, the proposed increase was 100%. Was able to negotiate that down to just only 40% more, which was still a lot. And so I was speaking with the new owners who, I'm like, hey, I'm coming up at the end of April. Um, what are you gonna? What are we looking at? And so uh, they got back to me, and basically we would be back to the previous two owners who wanted to raise it 100%. So there are things that I really like about this place. The lighting in here is fantastic because it has skylights. Now the skylights leak, so when it rains, I have to move things around so things don't get rained on. But the trade-off is the lighting is fantastic. The places that I have looked at, none of them have that same have skylights. There's nothing I can do about that. We'll be moving into a slightly smaller space, which is okay because as much as I like having this much space, it's not optimized. And granted, knowing how I am, no space that I am ever going to be in any regard, is ever going to be optimized. But uh, you know, we can fit this into a smaller space, so that's great without it being too terrible. And one thing that I know that Aaron will find very appealing is that it is climate controlled. So that's great. So this place, it's a little smaller, a lot well, it's going to be a lot cheaper than what it would be if I stayed here. It's less than what I'm paying now, so that's good. It is 8 minutes from my house. And Aaron, if you remember, well, of course you remember the hotel that you stayed in when you came for a class. Um, it's like 5 minutes from there, so super super close. So that's good. Let's see. Oh, there's lots. Uh, as someone who has moved in auto repair shop several times, oh, yeah, that's got to be worse. Rents do not go down. Yeah, you're in Indiana, but I hope that the job is good. I hope that you're having a good time there. Nevada is cheaper. The cost of living in Texas isn't that bad. It's probably better than a lot of places, but like Nevada is fucking hotter than here. So, or at least as hot. But yeah, I don't want to. I don't. Nothing against Nevada. I only know Las Vegas, and Las Vegas definitely does not appeal to me. You could sell your guitars in Vegas. I could. I there's a school of thought where you either focus locally or globally on your business. And I've always been a very globally focused person. That's not to say that my guitars wouldn't sell in Las Vegas, uh, but they certainly could. And if there are any dealers that are in the Las Vegas area that are interested in working with Sully guitars, then by all means get at me. But yeah, I don't plan to. I don't really know. There aren't really like. I don't want to move back to Chicago because the weather. I just can't. I just can't with it. And the cost of living in like I didn't live in the city, but it's easier to say the Chicago area. The cost of living is it's higher than where I'm at right now. And the weather. Yes, I would be closer to family, and that would be nice, but it's not an option. There aren't really any other places I want to live. I'm sorry, there aren't any other places that I've seen that I say, yeah, I could live here. Um, like Yeah, so it's kind of, so I'm kind of stuck. Yeah, the job is actually pretty cool. Good. They're gonna have some photos of me for the site. Oh, good. Which, yes, yes, that is good. I know when Perfecto took some pictures for Sweetwater, he's photographed with my Champagne Sparkle Concorde, which is fun. Yeah, the cost of living in Fort Wayne is pretty reasonable. The trade-off is you're in Fort Wayne. Um, anyway, but I don't know. So there's nothing against Fort Wayne. You know what? I don't think I've ever been to Fort Wayne, so I shouldn't say that. But yeah, I've been to Indiana. Anyway, Alfred, he's hot with the questions, and I like it. This is engagement. This is what we're looking for. Are we still selling the conspiracy theory guitars or just custom guitars? The conspiracy series guitars are very much still happening. We've got two pre-orders going right now. Um, one of which should be here at the end of this month. They're wrapping that up, so that's good. Uh, we're going to be doing a lot more of the conspiracy series. Um, yeah. Yes. Uh, thanks again for the gluing tip a few weeks back. Got some rubber bands. Hey, nice. Yeah, if you were here earlier, I was just undoing. Yeah, I got the rubber bands right there, right there. This is my gluing station, my gluing vise right there, and gluing. And then there's a glue bottle right over there. This is like ground zero for glue. Or, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, yeah. That's dude. That's good. I'm glad. I'm glad that it is working out. And yes, that's where our pal Dustin is working. That's why he went eastward. Um, yeah, so we're gonna move at the so the place that is it's being built right now. Um, it should be ready to go in mid-April, which is good because that's when I need it. So I would like to, start the process of, getting as much little stuff over there as I can, and then we'll rent the truck with the lift gate, and I hope I can get my pal Johnny to drive it again because he was a huge lifesaver. Uh, we can do it. I'm absolutely happy to do that. That is not a problem, and you know, as long as we meet the minimum order quantity for that particular exclusive guitar, yeah, we can totally do that. As long as it's one of our existing models, like something like a Comet, like wouldn't happen, or a Nice Man that wouldn't happen in the Conspiracy series. But yeah, would love to discuss that. Hey, my buddy Catfish checks in. Good morning. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna tape these necks up, you know. So I got this one, um, and then I'm gonna put the yeah, so I can get a little bit of clear coat on the headstock face, and then maybe I'll come back tomorrow so I can logo them, and then put another coat on over the logo, and then Monday I should be able to probably do final clears on that. Um, sellyguitars.com. That is where um, you can find all of the stuff. So that's the best place. Ooh, Michael's got a good question. And my buddy Catfish, who is watching, I've known since 8th grade. Uh, I, he will attest to this. At what point were I confident enough to start selling custom guitars? I will tell you that one of my many character flaws is that when I start a new thing, I don't generally have. I'm much better about this now, but I didn't generally have the self awareness to go. Hey, maybe let's kind of get some things under our belt, um, build some, you know, build some skills. But I have. I built some skills just last week. Yeah. Okay. You want to hone them? I mean, we could. You probably should, don't you think? But this guy wants me to make him something. What guy? The guy on the internet. Hmm. I think you see where I'm going with this. Um, Now, when I started making things for people, uh, they were absolutely priced accordingly. So, you know, the whole pricing thing is a whole other can of worms uh, that can have a lot of um, ties to your self-esteem. Um, but I don't really have that thing in me generally where I say, yes, we're ready to move forward. I'm much better with it now, especially as it relates to this stuff. But Um, I made a handful of guitars for myself, and some people were interested. Uh, and so I would, you know, make some guitars for them. Um, yeah. I like to say 6 from when construction begins. It also depends on the time of year. Um, so like, well, it also depends on like if I've already got the wood on hand, that certainly helps because we can just, oh, we pay the deposit. Yeah, let's go and we've got the neck blank. Let's go and start making the neck. You know what I mean? Um, things can happen that will uh, influence the wait time. Like, let's say, like if a big load of conspiracy series guitars show up, that shuts everything down until we get them all QC'd. Um, building stuff for NAM classes. So I'm working to get it. Paint is another thing that can really, really slow something down. Evan, you know this firsthand with me. Uh, and so I've been over the past couple years making some strides with mitigating that. So, I think 6 from when construction begins is generally what I aim for. That's yeah. No, I don't. I haven't. I didn't really do repair work for others. That was one of those things that I would do for myself as kind of like, you want to learn how to do fret work. If you've got a guitar that needs a refret, go refret that guitar, that kind of thing. But no, I don't. Yeah, there have been times over the years, like I used to. I refinished a Rhodes for someone like 20 years ago, and um, I've done some paint work for people again, 15, 20 years ago. But like, uh, I realized early on that if I could do one of two things, I can either focus solely on selling guitars or do like repair work and stuff like that. Because like if and I didn't want to do that for two reasons. One, um, I don't at all like doing repair work. I don't like trying to the added stress of making sure you are making the repair in a manner that looks like it never happened. Now, I also know that, or at least I get the sense that something looking like it never happened to me and something looking like it never happened to someone else can be two very different things. Um, and I don't want to chase those things down because it's a lot of additional undue stress. And like when we're putting frets in here, um, and we're filing them flush and beveling and all that stuff. The great thing about this is I don't have to worry about a paint job. I don't have to worry about anything. I don't have to worry about this being attached to something. It's I much prefer new construction than existing construction. So no, I don't do any repair. Yes, this is true because not only are you saying this is the cost of my work. This is you can't put a price on value because value can be relative to others. But when you're saying this is how much my work costs, you're really saying this is how much I am a human being am worth. It's totally tied to it's a huge head fuck. But um, it's the way it is. I hope that answers your question. That's the best way. When did you? At what point did I know you're confident enough to start selling them? Um, I just got in the habit of making stuff for people, and there hasn't been a time when anyone said, "Hey, I got this, and it's fucking garbage, and I hate you, and I want you to die." which is good. I mean, that's pretty that nobody want we don't want to have that kind of response as we go about our lives. Um, but if you've got some friends that know what to look for, take stuff. If you've got a guitar store that you have a good relationship with, they see production instruments all day long. They might be a sounding board for you. They might tell you to get bent. I don't know, but probably not. People are usually pretty nice. I remember early on, I had was finished a guitar, and I was doing a sound test, and the amp that I was using was just the amp was just really noisy, and I wanted to make sure that that particular noise was the amp and not the guitar. And there's a couple of different ways you could do that. You can take guitars that don't aren't noisy, and kind of is this noisy with this amp? Well, then yeah, it's probably just the amp. But anyway, there's a guitar store near me that I'm like, you know what? Um, it's a fancy pants guitar store, and I'm not aware of fancy pants, but I'm like, I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna say, "Hey, I built this thing. Can I just plug this into an amp for like 5 minutes? I'm not gonna bother you. I just, I don't want to take up a whole bunch of time." And as I'm driving, I'm like, I'm nervous about this because again, I'm going to a store. I have no intention of buying anything. I want to use something of theirs to see if you see where I'm going. And then as I'm driving in, I'm like, okay, crazy person, think about this for a second. You're not bringing sand to a beach. In a sense, you are, but if you're going to a guitar store with something that you just built that isn't, you know, terrible, um, people are gonna at least want to see it and be relatively nice or nice enough to you. So and that was the case. And it was funny because I plugged that guitar in, and I was just quietly playing stupid Kiss songs, and I hear someone singing along behind me. I turn around, and wouldn't you know, it's Andy Timmons. So that was fun, and there you go. That's my experience for that. Ross, checking in. I just changed the preamp tubes in my Cameron CCV clone, and it went from a squealing mess to greatness. Well, I'm glad. That's good. We squealing messes generally are best to be avoided. I think we can agree. And greatness. If you have the choice between greatness or a squealing mess, yeah, I think greatness is the way you want to go. What else? So what do we have coming up this week? More woodwork. Um, we've got yeah, we're really just I got to move these guys along here. Um, so I got to add some binding to that trellis body. We'll get those standed. Um, so this neck blank here goes to one of those trellis. So we got to make the fretboard. We'll do that throughout this week. Um, and just getting stuff moved along for paint, because what I need to do is as much woodwork as humanly possible until we have to move, because or until we have to start tearing stuff down. Um, because that moving the shop, that's going to take a month to recover from. Um, to fully recover from, I think. The nice thing is that the layout is pretty much going to be the same. So that's good. But, the packing, the unpacking, the doing all of the things, it takes about a month. Um, yeah. So let's see. Oh, wait, wait, wait. Evan, they would ask, "Why did you make it like that?" Probably gonna ask for something just as weird soon enough. Okay, that's cool. I think, yes, someone would have looked at that Stardust and say, "Hey, man, I think you forgot the control cavity. How are you gonna plug that in?" And I'll be like, "Oh, I didn't forget it because I have PTSD from drilling from that jack to the pickup. I didn't forget it. I forgot nothing, sir. How dare you, sir?" Yes. So, hey, I'm happy to entertain craziness. Anything from Capital? Well, I do have, we've got some spec stuff if you are interested. So, and then we've still got some stuff that we had at NAM like that liquid lavender stardust. Let me go and get that because like I'm gonna run out of time here, and you people need to see this. And I know that you probably already did because we saw your dumb NAM coverage. Um, but let's just take a look at that for a second, shall we? Yeah, we shall. Um, so this thing is dope. Got the fun frosted pick guard, and that is achieved by um, you get clear acrylic, you cut it out, and you spray the back silver or gold or whatever metallic color or whatever. Um, one humbucker. It's got the sea salt neck bridge pickup. It has a neck made of Ziracote, which is fun to say and fun to play. Rhyming, people, rhyming. Let's see. Let's see. What else? Do I have anything in here I can show you? I do. Well, let's see. Uh, let's see. I'll show you this. This is the last 92 that I'm ever going to make. Um, Here. This is the last one. And then no more. Happy about that. Why do you make guitars that you hate? Well, because we like to live indoors, kids. And I don't make guitars that I hate. Well, I have. Let's see what else. What else? What else? What else? What else? I can show you one of the LSs. Sure, why not? One is neck is glued in. 71 Charla LS. LS stands for Lil Shoddy. And we call it that because this has a 24 and 3/4 scale instead of the standard 25 and a half. Why do you make them 25 and a half? Because that's what I like better. Okay, I'll show you this. I'm not gonna post, I probably won't post pictures of it, but I'll show this to you. Here's a nice man that is going to one of our clients here. He wanted to take the Rhodes pinstripe theme and extrapolate that to this shape. Uh, it's not black, it's midnight blue, like Randy's stripes. Same with this. It also kind of reminds me of like, when you see people like paint something that in a manner that looks like comic books or cartoons. It kind of reminds me of that. And then it makes me go, I totally want to do that on a guitar. And hopefully that idea won't just live in my head for 20 years like the Swatch Concorde that got stolen at NAMM. Yes, I'm still very sad about that. Yeah, that's it. We are about to run out of time here. We've got less than a minute left. Okay, wait. Oh, wait, here, let's see. Anything? One of the first things I do with build class guitar was take it to the local shop. The owner said I spent 30 minutes cackling and plugging into different. Nice. Turns out guitar store owner generally really like guitars. That is the truth. The pickup video with the clean files to check out the dot and the different rig is brilliant. Nice. It is nice, man. It is dope, like Pope soap on a rope. And I do have to make a couple. Well, I've got one that is in the process, and I do have an extra body that, like, I probably could be coerced into finishing it for someone. But if my customs are already expensive, those are